Hello, hello, cyber world. How y'all doing out there? This is Brenda Underwood, Coach BU, keeping my word that I gave you guys earlier today that I was going to come and go live and talk about some branding stuff. So when we begin to start off, let me be clear that this is all about helping you march forward in marketing so that you can scale your businesses up, so that you can produce the revenue necessary in your business so that you're not broke, busted, and disgusted, struggling, trying to bring your purpose, your gifts, and your callings to life. And so this marketing that I'm going to bring to you is a combination of things. So I'm going to be, I'm just the real person. I am who I am, and I'm going to come and I'm going to show you, and you may see some glasses in the back and some look, I'm wearing contacts. My eye doctor told me I had to wear these contacts for 2 weeks, even though I can't read stuff in books while I'm wearing them. But anyhow, you may see some of this in the background, but I'm going to show you some of the books that I read or have read over the past 15, 20 years to help me really be able to help people dominate markets. And so I have been working in marketing and sales, business development, and staff development for 31 years. And so a lot of this comes from me working at an old ad agency, Darcy Macy's Benton and Bowles, back when I was 19. So let me show you the books. Okay. So now you guys take a screenshot. Anything that I show or share on social media, it's always public. It's always shareable, because if I want it to be private, then I just don't put it on social media. That's kind of how I roll. So to all my budding entrepreneurs out there who are joining in, let me introduce myself. My name is Brenda Underwood, Coach BU, and I'm here to help you win at life, both in business and personally. So when we are happy at work, life at home gets a lot happier. When we are stressed out about the money, the job, the dreading the job, then we usually will carry that over to the home. And so that's why I'm a dual certified coach. So I can help you remove the barriers from your personal life and remove the barriers from your professional life so you can craft a winning life. And with that being said, I'd love to hear you say hi. Let me know you're out there. This series is going to be cataloged on my YouTube channel, Breakthrough with Brenda. So please subscribe, because sometime over this next quarter, I intend to relaunch my podcast. So that way you can get notifications when we have information going live. So with no further ado, let me show you the books. Okay, I told you we're going to be messy, right? I just kind of keep it 100. So take a screenshot. Let's see how far back I can get this. Take a screenshot. And these are some of the books that I have read over the years. And this is just some. I have five bookcases at home full of business books. In the back of my office, you can see a bunch of books. I have books all over the place. I have another set of books over here. Those aren't necessarily with regards to marketing. They're more so business development, leadership, and helping entrepreneurs launch. But the book we're coming from today is this one. Okay. So I'm going to talk a lot about this book, as well as, told y'all, I keep it real, as well as everything is based on this. Purple cows and red flames. So what is the purple cows, red flames all about? Well, one of the first marketing books I ever received was this one, Purple Cow by Seth Godin. And the reason why I love this book is because it really helped me understand that I can't do it how everybody else does it. I really need to find my niche. I really need to understand my ideal client. I really need to be that red flame that stands out in all of the gray matter. And so I talked a lot about that the first half of the month. So you can go to my YouTube channel, Breakthrough with Brenda, subscribe, and then you can check out all the videos I did about gray matter and red flames. But now we're going to talk about branding. So when we talk about red flames, the red flames are all about you standing out. You creating content for your social media that doesn't just become gray, noisy matter, but it stands out. It's a red flame amongst all the gray matter. And this is what I taught people, look, people don't care about your product. They don't care about your service. They don't care about where you graduated from. They don't care about how much you know. They care about how much do you care about them. In this age, I have seen in 3 decades of working in marketing, I have seen it shift to very personable marketing. And so we've got to get red flame ready. We've got to use our uniqueness because your voice carries a frequency that hits the people who are designed to be in your world, designed to be in your social circle. And I am coming to you today to help you understand how you stand out as a purple cow. And a purple cow is one that stands out with their brand amongst all the gray cows. So, with that being said, when we begin to look at marketing, I'm not going to spend a long time here on ideal client because I think you guys hear a lot about that, but I'm going to come from a different angle. Oftentimes when we think branding is all about the color, the logo, the company name, the slogans and the mission statement and the taglines and the marketing message. Okay. Yes, those things are important. But what I'm coming to share with you today, it's important that you know who you're trying to reach with those things. It is, and every single one of the people that I work with at some point give me some pushback on how deep I take them in the ideal client. But when you go super deep into your ideal client, then you can literally create content that gets their attention. Let me give you an example of some red flame before I get into the purple cow market, the branding piece. But I put a lot of stuff out about old school, telephones that had extension cords and that was on the wall. How many of y'all, give me a high five if you grew up in a household where the phone was attached to the wall? And like in my house, in my mom's home, it was a long extension cord for the phone, and we walked all over the kitchen with it, right? I put that out there because my ideal client is a woman who has reached middle age, and she is looking to live a life of significance, of legacy, and a life of contribution. She wants to impact the nation. She wants to impact her community. She wants to impact her circle. And so I put stuff out that resonates with them. And so some of you guys are going to be noticing that been putting out a lot of stuff about relationships. Every once in a while, I get into my field and I want to put some stuff out about relationships from time to time. One, let me tell y'all, don't take it personal. Half the time, I'm not even in a committed relationship, and I date and I explore because I'm looking for something that is very rare. But because relationships are important to women and men, I put out a lot of content about that because that feeds my ideal client in an area that they are concerned with. That's one thing that we don't seem to get. It's very hard for businesses to understand that they need to meet their ideal client in their point of need outside of the service or product they provide. I have one reel that I put out. It's hit like 1,500. And that's unheard of on my Instagram, because my Instagram isn't where my ideal client hangs out. My ideal client hangs out on LinkedIn and Facebook. But because I understand branding, I'm present. You Google Breakthrough for Life, you're going to see my Twitter or my X. You're going to see Twitch. I don't even know. I need to go check that account because I don't do video games like that. You're going to see me on LinkedIn. You're going to see me on Google My Business. You're going to see me on Yelp. You're going to find Breakthrough for Life. If you Google us, everywhere. My YouTube channel, podcasts that I've been on, and I didn't even promote most of my podcasts that I have been on other people's podcasts. And so there's a plethora of information out there. Why? Because I want, when someone Googles me, I want my digital footprint to be broad. But I am niched into working with go-getters that want to get her done. I am not the pat, let's play house, let's play patty cake coach. I'm the results coach. We're going to get her done. I don't hold on to a problem more than 72 hours. 72 hours, that problem, I'm going to make a decision on how I'm going to move forward, and I'm committed to my move. I don't like to live in indecision because indecision steals your time and your peace. Thank you so much, Glenda. Oh, can I brag? Can I brag? I'm a brag on my Glenda right here. Glenda Cunningham is a life coach. She is going through a second certification for life coach through me, and I love working with this woman. She is so astute, she's smart, she's sharp, and she has a business acumen that is bar none. I love working with her, but she really has a heart for a particular ideal client, and that's the person who wants to transition. You are transitioning from um, empty nest, your kids are gone, and now empty nest, you and your husband looking at each other like, we ain't been alone in a house by ourselves for 25 years. What do I do with you? And he looking at her like, what do I do with you? You talk a lot, and so I love that she is a transition coach. If you're transitioning out of the workplace and you're transitioning into retirement, she's the coach for you. Brenda, why would you promote another coach on your live? Why? Because I don't have a scarcity mentality. One, there's enough for all of us to get a slice of the pie. There is 7.8 billion people on this earth. I surely can't coach all of them, but I definitely want 1 million people's lives to be transformed through Breakthrough for Life, through coaching, because we are in a hurting world and we all need healing. We all need to unpack and go through all of the things that life has done to us so that we can get to a place where we can at least walk with some level of confidence. And so I love Glenda's story. I love her. I got an opportunity to meet her husband when she came for a discovery call, because, I'm a custom coach. So every once in a while I get outside of my rigid structure. And usually the discovery calls are always done via Zoom, but she asked and I gave it. You never know what you're going to get until you ask. And all they can say is no. And guess what? No ain't going to kill you. You may go home and cry a little bit, but you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You have survived 100% of every single thing that was meant to take you out if you're drawing breath right now. And so, yes, I will plug you every single time. Let me tell you something about Breakthrough for Life. We spend money within the Breakthrough for Life family. When I need something in the Breakthrough for Life family, Mary Kay person, Tupperware person, voice over IP, if I need a lawyer, a doctor, a CPA, it is all within the Breakthrough for Life family. So I go and spend money with my clients first. If I'm going to get a journal, I'm going to get a journal from Robin. If I'm going to get some strategic coaching because I'm kind of stuck I got 15 things going on, I'm going to get it from Beverly Worthall. That is what I do. I believe in reciprocal relationships. I am a big believer. And that's why I have friendships that have last 20, 30, 40 years. Because I like reciprocal relationships. And when you build your brand on relationships, that are giving, loving, caring, with healthy accountability and healthy boundaries, you will have people who will buy things from you never imagined. And that's why I want to share with you the power of branding. I have some clients, and not in the coaching space, because I've not always been in the coaching space. I was in the copier industry for a long time. Some of my dearest friends are from the copier industry. Some of my dearest friends are clients that I had back then. Why? Because I am going to teach you about relationship marketing, not transactional marketing. And so let's get into this. And so thank you so much, Glenda, for coming and sharing and leaving a comment. I so appreciate it. And so let's get into this. We talked about the red flame, and the biggest way to do the red flame is, one, be confident in who you are as a person and what you bring to the table, as well as be willing to show your superpower. And that is your uniqueness. Because, I am Coach BU, the Breakthrough Strategist, and BU means be authentically who God designed you to be before life happened to you. And life happened to all of us. So we all got some unpacking to process. So that helps you with the red flame. If not, you can go check out my YouTube channel, Breakthrough with Brenda, and you can look at all of those videos that talked about the red flame and gray matter. And so with that being said, when we get into our ideal client, this information, if you want to fact check me, This information is coming from this book, Why She Buys. It's not just about branding to women, though. It was interesting. Can I share a page from me and my son's life? I'm really a bookworm, and my son, he's gonna hate that I say this. And if he's watching, y'all pray for me because I'm gonna get it when I get home. He's kind of geeky. He's a reader. He digs in, he researches, and I love that about my son because he's a little bit different than me, and I embrace the difference. That's mature love. When you can love someone who is different than you and still love them when they don't agree with you. That's a powerful, mature love. And so my son doesn't always think like me, and I trained him not to think like me. I trained him to be an individual, to think like him. So one of the things that we would do Sunday after church, we're going to go eat. Typically, lately we ain't been going to eat because he got so much stuff going on. He's 25, and we'll go out to eat. We'll go to church, go to eat, and then I'll be like, can we go to a bookstore? Don't you want to go to a bookstore, Devin? And so we'll go to a bookstore, and we'll have a whole stack of books, and we'll just sit there for hours and look and see which books we want to buy and things of that nature. So this was one of the books. Yes, honey. Yes, Glenda, I am learning more and more about mature love, honey. When I tell you, God has got these from January to now, God has been dealing with my heart and on mature love and stretching my beliefs. And so at the end of the day, thank you so much. Mature love would be something that all of us during this election year may want to apply to ourselves. Love people even if they're across the lane on you. Love people who are in the blue and the red, because at the end of the day, Jesus died for all of us, whether you Republican or Democrat. And if we have some mature love, we just might open our minds and see things from a different perspective. I mean, just think about it. I ain't saying it. I don't get into politics. That ain't my stilo. Because if I got into politics and shared what I believe about politics, I'm gonna tick off the Republicans. I'm gonna tick off the Independents. I'm gonna tick off the what's the other ones? Democrats. I'm gonna tick them all off because my political views are very, very unique. So I kind of keep them to myself. All I'm saying is let's use some mature love when we during this election year, and whoever gets in office, let's continue to remember that every single person you meet wants the same thing you want: to be loved and to love. To be loved and to love. And so let's treat people with some decorum of respect, even when we disagree. Okay? It's easy to love those who love you, but it's harder to love those that don't look like you, love those that don't act like you, and love those that don't believe like you. Now, that is rising up to say, you know what, I'm gonna love you even though I ain't gonna vote like you vote. Okay, I'm off that tangent. Let's get back to Why She Buys. The greatness about this book, Why She Buys, it doesn't just teach you about why women buy, it also teaches you about why men buy. It's a very powerful book, probably one of the most new books, most powerful books that I've read lately. Very, very, very good book. Hey, Keisha, that's my girl right there. That girl right there. Man, me and her, she got certified with Breakthrough for Life, and I got a certification class coming up in April. April 6th is when it starts. So if you want to get certified as a life coach, you want to get in, let's get a discovery call. Let's figure out how we can get you a business in a box that's going to get you to $120,000 worth of revenue and build a business that has impact and that feeds your soul. You want to schedule a discovery call with me. So Keisha and Glenda are in the same cohort. Keisha is an alumni. And so with the Breakthrough for Life Academy, the alumni can come and retake my certification program as many times as they want to at no charge, as long as they behave. Because if you get in there and you say you're coming and you don't come and you sign up and don't show up, I will revoke your rights. However, with that, Keisha's coming through a program now that is 2 times the size of when she went through it 6 years ago. This is what happens when leaders are readers. We're always sharpening our axe. We're always learning something new. We're always pressing the limits. We're always challenging the status quo. And in that, we're always learning something new. And for me, my initial gift is teaching. I love to teach. So if I learn something new, I want to tell somebody right away. And so with that being said, Why She Buys, she goes into very good detail, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information from that. So if I'm talking really fast, on YouTube, you can go in there and you can slow me down because I have so much information in this head that I want to get to all of you guys because you know what? I want to see all of us thrive. I want to help women win and a few good men. I really do. And this is my heart. And this is why I take the time. I should have been off at 9, but I take the time to come and feed y'all so that you can feed others. And so when we think about branding, it all starts with your ideal client. And so some of the things that come from this book right here is the brain. There's an old joke that the brain is, and this comes from chapter 2. If you want to go fact check me. The brain is the largest sex organ. It's an old joke that they used to have. And true enough, according to science, there are some very distinct things between the genders. Now, I'm not arguing LGBTQ. I respect that community. Some of my deepest, closest, my brother in crime, if he is my boy, Dwight. I love him. I love his husband. I love people. It is not my job to judge people. It is my job to spread love. Love is my only yoke. So I have no judgment. So when I'm talking about genders, I'm just talking from the science perspective of what you were born as and how your brain scientifically works. And so they say that the brain is the largest sex organ, and there is science that says that is true. It is the largest sex organ because it drives behavior. And we have some very distinct differences between the male brain and the female brain. I'm just going to give you a couple, and I'm going to kind of share some of the information she passed along in her book, chapter 2, about the differences in the two brains so that you can begin to understand who is truly your ideal client. Because if you're trying to brand to both men and women, it's more than colors, baby girl. Don't just slap pink on it and call it girls. I mean, it's language. It's how we process information, our emotional output, how we deal with things. Men like to be competitive. They can be a little bit more aggressive. That's always the slap on the hand I get. Brenda, you so strong. You got so much male masculine energy. That's because I've had a lot of men in my life that made me have to operate in my masculine energy because they didn't operate in theirs. But let me tell you, I done met a real one now, and homeboy operates in his masculine energy full blown, which makes me have to beta down to his alpha. But that's a whole nother live for a whole nother day. Now, we are different. Women talk 50% more than men do. Period. Any man that's listening to me now, I'm gonna need you to high five me because I just gave you a plug. So when you're looking at your wife or your significant other or your girl, and you looking like chica, you talk too much. I remember Devin's dad. His name is Kenny Ray Marshall. That was the love of my life. I love me some Kenny Ray Marshall. And what's up to all his sisters, which those women, all his aunts and uncles, Devin, my son's aunts and uncles, they all treat me like family. And they call me sis, and they fly out. I mean, they show up for my son like in ways that just brings me to tears. And I'm a big old crybaby. But when you are marketing to men versus women, women talk more than men do. I remember Devin's father would always say to me when I would get testy about something and I get the yeah. I'm not a nagger, but I'll speak my piece. And he's like, Brenda, this is too much conversation. What do you want? And I'll tell him, this is what I want. And he'll be like, okay, Brenda, this is what we're going to do. Because I run my house. I don't run around my house. And I'm like, dang, that's sexy, Val. But anyway, and then he would say, look, I don't see that we can do that because of X, Y, Z. And he was one who would always communicate with me. And I think that's why we were so close for so long. But he would always tell me, look, that's too much conversation, Brenda. I didn't understand then that men, their brain has 50% less communication neurons than women. We have double. So no wonder we're going to sit around and talk for hours at a Just Brunch. I'm a plug Just Brunch over here in Duluth, right by my office. And they close at 4:00. Make a reservation, especially if you're coming on Sunday. But when I tell you that food is bomb.com, slap your mama good. Bomb.com, slap your mama good. So when you understand that women's brains are different than men, you understand we have to communicate differently. If your brand is trying to reach both men and women, then you're going to have to be very skillful in how you communicate. My brand speaks to women primarily because my brand is I help women win and a few good men. If you see a male testimony on my page, let me tell you, that brother went through a much more difficult discovery call than the women do. Why? Because men seem to get turned off or pushed back or challenged by my masculine energy. And in corporations, I operate in a lot of masculine energy because I'm a go-getter and I'm trying to get it done, and I'm a driver and I'm a decision maker and I'm decisive, and I have no approach. When I walk into a meeting and I'm running the meeting and we're trying to get some software out and I'm managing the IT team, I come in, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Okay, let's talk about deadlines. Where are you at here? Where are you at there? Where are you? And people be like, hey, don't you want to know about our weekend? And no, I don't. Because y'all like getting a fat paycheck. And the way we get fat paychecks is we move product outdoors. Now, I'm going to be nice, I'm going to be polite, but I am a very much bottom line brass tacks type chick. And so in corporations, it would turn people off, this big black girl who's all loud. And I understood that, but I was there to drive revenue. I've always worked in revenue-driven positions. So if I'm driving revenue, I don't have time to play patty cake with you. Deadlines happen every month, and rent is due on the 1st every month. And so I'm very direct, and that turns a lot of people off. And guess what? That's okay. I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, for the people it turns on, let me tell you, you getting results like ain't nobody's business. I'm about to put out a testimony tomorrow. Y'all keep an eye on it, because this testimony is from the first coaching session where this woman told me that she had groundbreaking results in the first coaching session that shocked her because she didn't expect to get those results so fast. Groundbreaking results that shifted her mindset. Now, I asked her to send me a paragraph. She sent a nice little paragraph that I'm gonna put out tomorrow. So with that being said, understand who you're marketing to. Because I know that the men that come on board, I have to coach them differently than I coach the women, because they are different in the brain. And because of that, I say a few good men, because some men, not all men, need to be reminded multiple times to do things, need a different type of accountability. And I just don't have time for all that. I'm not your wife. I'm not your mom. I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not nagging you. I'm going to tell you once, I'm going to tell you twice, third time, we're going to have a different type of conversation, because I can't get results unless you take action. And I guarantee my performance results. So I have to be very selective in who I take on and make sure that they're ready to get the results. So when you're looking at your services, who are they for? Primarily men or primarily women, or both? I'm just saying one's not right and one's not wrong. I'm just saying know that there's a difference when you communicate, because a man has 50%, or let me put it this way, I don't want to down men, because I love my brothers. I love you all, y'all, not just my brothers that look like me, but all my brothers. So I don't want to make them seem inferior, because they are not. They are our kings, and they are men of valor out there. So I want to honor them. So let me say it like this. Women have 50% more talkative communicators in their brain than men do. And so at the end of the day, we have to understand that when we're communicating with them. Let me tell you what else is different according from this book. If you want to fact check me, it's chapter 2 of this book. In the limbic, and I may not be saying it right, this is why I didn't go into nursing like the rest of my family, my mom's family is. The emotional center of the brain is the limbic system. It is larger in women than men. Therefore, it explains why women in just about every major society are the caregivers. It's so funny when we understand how our brains work. We understand, when you tell your husband, I had this thing happen at work, and he wants to go straight into fixing it for you. Like, you ain't got to keep that job. Look, you go get another job. I hold you down. And you're like, I don't want you to fix it. I want you to hear me out. I want you to listen to my pain, or why I want to, choke my boss, And so when we understand that about men, then we're not so put off when they're trying to fix it. Men are pursuers, providers, protectors, and fixers. You tell a man a problem, his heart, especially for a woman he loves and cares about, is to fix it. And we want to just chat with our girlfriends, right? And so when we understand how the brain works, we can communicate properly. Another one is the memory section of the brain. The hippocampus is larger in women than men. So this is why women can remember the argument from 1979 when you was wearing that green shirt with them blue jeans and them white and black Nikes. We can remember it all the way back to 1979 and it's 2024 because the memory area of the brain is larger in women than men. Wow. And so you know what? I'm more patient now that I understand that. I'm more patient with my son now that I understand that the memory section of the brain is higher in women than men. And so therefore, I don't get mad when my son forgets something, or I don't get mad about having to tell my male friend, hey, don't forget you need to do XYZ. Don't forget you need to now, because I understand them better. And when you understand people better, you can deal with them better, beloved. Okay, let's see here. I got some comments going here. Mr. Fix It Felix, gotta love him. Is this my girl Patty? Patty Barris? This is one of my spiritual daughters, I think. Her husband's name is Felix, and I got a chance to coach her husband. And her husband is, oh my goodness, he's so fabulous. Love you, Patty. Let me know if that's you, because if you're in my Facebook group, you have to give StreamYard permission to show your name. That's a requirement from Facebook. And so I hope this is Patty. Otherwise, I'm talking about somebody else's husband. Anyway. Thank you so much, Patty. I'm glad you're here. And so once we understand the differences, and you're going to get a little bit of those differences every single time I come live until the end of the month. And I'm probably, since I didn't get to go live as frequently as I wanted to, this may carry over into April. We'll just see what God tells me when I do my prayer at the end of the month on what the next month's going to look like. So when we understand our ideal client, then we can communicate, because marketing is all about crafting good communication that speaks to what your ideal client is interested in hearing. And many of us are not very good communicators. Many of us communicate from what we want, not from what they need. And so we need to get out of our own way with our brands and really get in the head of our ideal client. I think it's a 4-page life sheet that I use to take my clients through the ideal client. Hey, this is Beth Miller. That's what I call my husband, Mr. Felix. Mr. Fix It, Lester L. Miller. Okay. Hey, Beth, I got to meet her husband too. I got to serve with her at Trace Diaz. She called me a while back and asked me if I would come and do a leadership talk for her. And I just love me some Beth. You are an awesome, and she's in therapy. So if you guys are looking for a therapist, check my girl out. She gonna get you handled. And so when we talk about branding, y'all like, you 38 minutes into this, and 33 minutes into this, and you just now getting to branding. But branding don't work if you don't know your ideal client. So we just gonna keep it 100, okay? Branding don't work unless you know your ideal client. And your ideal client doesn't care how much you know. They don't care about your product, and they don't care about your service until they know how much you care about them. So put information out that your ideal client needs and wants to hear so that you can then get the permission to talk to them about what you can do to help their lives, their situation. So when we talk about that, there are 4 reasons why people buy. Relieve pain, release pressure, convenience, and entertainment. Plug into those, and you are going to have a greater conversion rate with whatever product or service you're selling. Because at the end of the day, you're selling to human beings. So when you study human beings, then it automatically feeds into your marketing. So branding, declaring your brand. Your brand is like you declaring your reputation. You get to declare who you're going to be. And so your brand identity represents who you are as a business, uniqueness, values, and style. Okay. I have upgraded my look this year. One of the reasons why is I said this is going to be the year that I was going to get down to 150. We're down to 190, and I'm trying to get to 185 in the next 10 days. And so in the weight loss, I said, I'm going to have to buy new clothes. So I made an intentional decision to upgrade my look because I want my brand, as far as style, to represent transparency, boldness, sassy, classy, sexy. Because I'm 52 and I don't care what they say about older women and all that stuff. Look, we are fine wine. And you ain't got to deal with the foolishness with women of my age than when you're dealing with younger women. There's just certain things we ain't doing. We ain't driving by your house. We ain't going through your phone. We ain't doing that craziness. Because if we feel like we got to do it, we just go, peace, I'm out. Because at the end of the day, we got too much going on in our lives to be that type of Inspector Gadget. Now, I ain't gonna lie, in my 20s, my 30s, and in my early 40s, I was that. But now I ain't got time. And I wasn't that a whole lot either, because half the time I didn't care. So back to branding. That's my style. I want to be bold. I want to wear bold colors. I want to be stunning when I walk in a room. I want somebody to look and say, hey, who's that chick? And used to have blonde hair. It's right there at the top. I'm about to get my hair redone. But I want somebody to say, who's that black chick that had the blonde hair? Because that's a signature for my brand. It makes me stand out. It's my red flame. And so when you think about branding gets to declare what your reputation is going to be in the business world. Like, I try to keep my word. I'm here doing this live when I've only had 2.5 hours sleep, no more than 3 hours of sleep all week, because I'm trying to change my sleep pattern. Let me tell you, it's getting a little rough in this camp. It's kind of like when a smoker stops smoking cigarettes, they get really, really cranky and everything gets on their flipping nerves. I'm at that stage of trying to change my sleep pattern. However, I'm committed. 63 days, I'm getting up at 6 a.m. 63 days, I'm going, well, not 63 days, but for 3 months, I'm going to Pilates at 7 o'clock in the morning because I'm trying to establish new habits. So when you look at a desired business reputation, what do you want your reputation to be? What do you want people to say about you after they have encountered your brand? Your brand is more than your logo and your colors. Now, those are important. If you are launching a new business, you want to do some research on the psychology of colors. You want to do some research on how to create your logo. You may not do your own logo. I didn't do mine. I hired Phyllis Breach, who is now also a leadership coach. She did my logo for me. I literally sketched it out on a napkin at Papados and handed it to her. And I said, do you think you can do something with this? And girl, my logo, thebomb.com. I love that logo. And so, especially because if you notice my logo, I'm trying to see where, okay, you notice my logo, it has a cross in it because I'm a Christian coach, but I coach everybody because Jesus, his mandate is for you to love God, love others as yourself. So the order of love is love God, love yourself so that you can love others properly. Okay. So I love my logo and it represents my brand. I cannot tell you the number of clients that sign up with me because one lady told me who just signed up the other day, she dropped four figures to work with me on the call. And that's whose testimony you guys are going to get tomorrow. She dropped 4 figures to work with me on the call. And she said the number one reason why she came to me because I was overtly a Jesus Christian. Because there's some other kinds of Christians out there too. I ain't gonna go into that. But I proclaim Jesus and I don't apologize for it. You're also going to see another testimony from a tarot card reader, I think that's how you pronounce it, and a psychic. And she gave a testimony. She says, and I love her testimony. I love honesty. She said, she goes, I was a little leery because she was a Christian coach, but after talking to her, she made me feel comfortable that she would respect my religious belief. That's mature love. When you can respect someone who's different than you. And I speak her language. I don't speak, as much Christianese. Now she's still gonna get Jesus. If you coach with me, if and Jesus offends you, then don't even click the button, because I'm gonna talk about some Jesus. But I'm also gonna respect your belief as well, because that's your right. And so when you begin to look at your brand, yes, I'm an overt Christian brand, but I love everybody. I'm inclusive. I want to bring you in. I don't want to push you out. You cannot influence people that you reject. You can't. And so my brand represents the strength of that. What does your brand represent? When my clients sign their informed consent, which declares I'm not a therapist and I'm not doing no psychotherapy, there's a Bible verse in my agreement. And in my business for Breakthrough, it's 2 Samuel 5:20, where God calls himself Baal Perizim, the Lord of Breakthrough, and where David got a break. I mean, I'm asking for some David anointing. He got a break and he got rest on every side. I'd like to get some ground in my life that I don't have to fight for. So think about what your brand represents. If you're a Christian brand, do you want to incorporate and make Jesus in all and through all? Go look for a scripture that your brand can stand on. I pray for my clients every single week because I'm a Christian coach. That's a part of my brand, my reputation. They know we're going to fight flat-footed with the devil on your behalf. I had another client today, and I believe I can say her name, Esther. She approved to do a testimony for me. Esther, she came to me and she wanted some intimacy with Christ, and she wanted to have a closer relationship with God. And let me tell you, we finished her 10th session today. We knocked it out the park. She reduced her fear by 7-8 points on a scale from 1 to 10. She looked at me. She said, I didn't think you was going to be able to get me all the way through this in 10 weeks. And we hadn't even started her 10th session yet. And so I'm just telling you the differences in brands. If your brand is to get transformation, or your brand is to make people happy with crazy desserts like cheesecake, I'm telling you, this woman got some stuff. I can't even go up in her place right now because I'm trying to lose this weight, and because her stuff be so good to me. And so you want to check out Cheesecake. She's over in Norcross and she's open on the weekends only. So go check out my girl, Sean Brown. But as you are looking at your brand, what do you want your brand reputation to be? What do you want people to say about you based on their interaction with your organization? When they encounter your marketing, what do you want them to perceive about you in the marketplace? You get to determine that. Just live up to it, because there's a lot of brands out there that don't. And that's how you can set yourself apart. I ask my clients this question at the end of every 10-week or 16-week coaching journey, because that's where most of my coaching journeys come from. So all those 100 and about to be 120, because I'm about to get all my testimonies out, because I got 20 of them that I haven't produced yet or published yet. All of them, they worked with me 10 to 16 weeks. Very rarely is there a testimony on there from anyone who worked with me in my 1-year program, because you can only get into my 1-year program if you went through my intensive weekly program successfully. And so only 1/3 of my clients get invited to the Achievers program. So when you look at those testimonies on that page, those testimonies are from people who went through 10 or 16 weeks of coaching with me. And my brand, part of my brand is we under promise and over deliver. So at the end of 10 or 16 weeks, I ask my clients, have we reached your coaching goal? Because I give a performance guarantee for that. That's a part of my brand. With Breakthrough for Life, you're going to get your result. Hook or crook, we're going to make it happen. And if we can't do it in 10 to 16 weeks, whichever I determined was the time length, then I will coach you for free until you do. Ask me how many times I've had to give away my performance guarantee. 0. Because underneath all of this is a brand that says, analyze your numbers so you can know how to get your results. And so when you're looking at your brand, you want your brand to declare a truth about who you are as a business organization. So I shared a plethora of information in 45 minutes. I'm going to let you guys roll with that. But guess what? I might be back tomorrow. I can't say for sure. But I'm going to try to get to y'all before 4 o'clock tomorrow because I have an evening client at 5. And I have a marketing class. I teach the Breakthrough for Life certification class in the morning as well from 10 to 12:30. And so I have a small gap in between. So I'm going to try to come to y'all tomorrow between the academy and my evening client. However, if I don't, I'm going to catch you on Tuesday, guaranteed. Okay. With that being said, with no further ado, this is Breakthrough for Life, Coach BU, all about helping you be authentically who God created you to be before life happened to you. My main goal is to help you connect your passion and your purpose with your paycheck so that you can live a winning life. 87% of people hate going to work. That's 1/3 of your life you spend doing something you hate or you dread or you dislike. And I want to change. I want to reduce that 87%. If Daniel can pray for the nation of Israel, one man can pray for the nation of Israel and move the heart of God for God to be merciful and compassionate, then surely one little old girl over here in Atlanta, Georgia, can reduce the trajectory of people's future hating their jobs. I don't want you to go into your future hating your job. I want you to leap out of bed excited to go to work, whether it's in a job, a corporation, or a purpose-driven business. I want you to be excited about every 24-hour period of your life. And we like to call that the winning life. And with that, if you would like to explore the power of what coaching can do in your life, you can always go to breakthroughforlife.com, click the Contact Us button, and schedule a free discovery call. All I ask is if you sign up, show up. Because if you show up, I am literally going to break down an entire strategic plan to get you to the results you're looking for quicker than you would doing it yourself. So with that being said, I wish you the best. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you on the other side. Breakthrough for Life. Peace and love. Bye-bye.